Hello Summers, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome if you're new. I'm so happy that you have decided to join us today. Today we're building a community lot again. I was really inspired last time. For my last video I built my first ever community lot, and so I decided that I wanted to make another one. This one is a little bit different. I got the idea from my friend over on Twitter, Allie Rose 2020. She kind of gives me build ideas, and then we'll talk about it and come up with just ideas from that idea in itself. So because I was really inspired by my last community build, I asked her if she had any ideas for more community builds, because I wanted to I want to grow myself in my building capabilities, and I think that having more ideas and different things to build will help me get there. So I asked her if she had any community lot suggestions, and she didn't at first, but let me tell you, she came through for me. She actually gave me a lot of suggestions, and one of those was this cute little house that I'm gonna pop up on the screen right now. And when she suggested it, she said, I know this is a house, but you could make it like a floral shop or something, or a cafe. And immediately I thought, oh my gosh, this will be perfect. So when I saw this house that she sent me, it took me to my childhood. I grew up going to my friend's house, and my friend, her mom, was heavily involved in the community. And like I said in my last video, I live in like a historic town, so we had events that were centered around historical themed ideas. I don't know how to explain it. So for example, we had something called Victorian Christmas, and it was like an event that was Victorian era themed. So there would be people that would volunteer and turn the village into, like, it would take us back in time into the Victorian era, and they would be dressed up in character for that time. They'd be selling baked goods from that time, and it would just be so fantastic. And the mom was heavily involved in volunteering for this type of thing, so she was very crafty. Holy cow, it is raining so bad all of a sudden. That scared me. Sorry if you heard that. Anyway, her mom really was just my kind of lady. I love crafting. I don't have a lot of time for it, but I just love to create. And I loved going to my friend's house. Her name was Emily, and her mom is fantastic. I don't know how they're doing now, but I hope they're doing well. But her mom owned this, so they lived on a farm, and so there was a lot of acreage, but her mom had a little building just off to the side of their house. I mean, it was a little bit away, but it was on their property, and it just looked like a little house, right? And it was a floral shop. Like, people would go there and purchase like arrangements and just different things from her, and I just loved it. And we would go and play in her shop sometimes, and you would walk in and there would be dried flowers just hanging, and it was just so magical, like being a child and walking in there, and I don't know, it took me to a whole different place. I loved it. It just filled my imagination just being in there. So that's kind of where I went when I seen this house. And I'm like, oh my gosh, a floral shop would be so amazing. And then because of the place that Emily's mom's floral shop took me to, I immediately went to Henford-on-Bagley. Okay, and I don't know why, but it just took me there. So that's where I'm building this build. That's where I built this community lot. And it's not in a community area, right? So like I said, Emily and her family lived on a farm, and this flower shop was in the middle of nowhere. And it was very country. But it was so fitting for this floral shop. It was just, oh gosh, I wish I could find pictures of this floral shop. It was so beautiful. But that's where this build took me, and that is a lot of the inspiration that got me started on the build. So that's why I started in the floral shop, because that's where a lot of my original ideas came from. You're gonna notice that in the picture I showed you of the build that Allie Rose 2020 sent me, the house was green, and I originally started with the greenhouse because I really wanted it to kind of fit in with the nature, right? And I did not keep it green. There was no green that I found that really fit. There was no green that matched what I had envisioned within the Sims for me to use a green siding or exterior wallpaper, wall trim. I don't know. It just didn't work. So I did end up changing it to blue, and I used the Horse Ranch pack, the Horse Ranch expansion pack, like wood paneling, and it just gave me the vibe I was looking for the exterior of this lot. And anyway, so I'm trying to like re-catch my thought process because I went way off of what I originally planned. But we're in Henford-on-Bagley building another community lot, and this community lot is going to be like dual purpose, right? So it's going to be a floral shop on one side and a bakery on the other. And I was thinking, I'm not sure why I decided to do a bakery and floral shop, but that's just what I wanted to do. So then I'm thinking like, okay, well, who are the owners of this business going to be? And I originally thought that I was going to do like an elderly couple. So for a long time in my head, it was an elderly couple that was going to own this business, and I thought that the husband would be in charge of running the bakery, and the wife would be in charge of running the floral shop / gift shop. And I say / gift shop because not only did I include like flowers and arrangements in the floral shop, I also ended up having the idea that this person was just really DIY and creative, so they also made a lot of things besides floral arrangements for purchase. So I put in I put candles on display, and thought, awesome, she can make candles with the eco lifestyle like candle making station. And then I decided like maybe like picture frames and like trinkets, and so then I'm like, okay, floral shop / gift shop. Okay. So that's where that particular part of the build ended up. It's a floral shop / gift shop. And then the other side is just a bakery. And then I decided that the middle section of the build was going to be like your checkout area, so both they're going to be separate but also together. So I figured they would have one cash register and they would run their business like together, even though it's two separate things. So then I was like, oh, this is going to be great. I figured we were going to we could even sell some coffee. We could just have like on the house coffee, right? I don't know. So I made a little coffee station in the middle too, like where they would go and check out. And I really liked the way it turned out. It definitely, right now, if you can kind of see it off to the one corner of the video, it does not stay the way that it is. I changed this build a lot because I started it quite a while ago, actually, a couple weeks ago, even prior to the Home Chef Hustle stuff pack coming out. Speaking of that, this build was actually meant to be posted last Saturday. However, I ended up in the hospital with my son, he's 2, and he needs a little extra help when he gets a cold sometimes. He has severe asthma and allergies, so sometimes we end up at Children's Hospital and they care for him very good. So I did postpone the build a little bit, but my baby's okay and the build is okay because I did end up waiting for the Home Chef Hustle stuff pack to be released, and then I used those items within the build and everything ended up being okay. And my personal life and in my Sims build life. So yeah, like I said, it did get pushed back, but that's okay. So here so speaking of that, because I originally had this thought in my head that it was going to be a bakery prior to the Home Chef Hustle stuff pack being released or even being announced at this point. I had designated a large space in the back of the build for the cupcake machine, the cupcake maker, because I figured I would need it because it's gonna be a bakery, right? And I needed to be able to make cupcakes, but I did not. So I ended up giving myself a little bit extra room and taking some space away from the kitchen area, and yeah, because I didn't need the cupcake machine anymore. As you know, free the cupcakes. And yeah, so anywho, I think we were talking about who was gonna own the shop. So I thought of an elderly couple. About 3/4 of the way through the build, I decided, you know what? I think I'm going to have a younger adult or just an adult own this building, because I'm not really sure what changed my mind, but I changed my mind. And then as I'm building, I thought, I really want 2 people. Like, I want there to be 2 people involved in this business because there are 2 areas of expertise. So, I think I held on to the single person until I was putting in the parking lot area, and I know that sounds so weird, but I was putting in the parking lot area and that prompted me to change where the back entrance was to the lot, which changed the entrance to the upstairs, and then that changed the entire layout of the upstairs apartment because I changed the direction of the stairs. I know that sounds really a lot for just a simple parking lot, but that's how that went. And that's how I got there. And I think I'll talk about that a little bit later. But, oh no, I guess we can talk about it now. I didn't realize it was coming up so quick. So the back entrance for the apartment used to be on this side where the bakery is, but I noticed the way you get up to this lot, it looks like a pathway from the floral side. So I'm like, okay, we're just gonna keep the parking lot area over there, and then they can park there and then enter in from the left side of the building to their apartment. So that's how that all changed. And then from there, I was like, you know what? I'll start decorating upstairs. And when I started decorating upstairs, I decorated the bedroom for the original sim that I had thought of for owning the business. And her room ended up being very nature inspired, because I just thought it was really fitting with her love for like plants and flowers. So once I did that, then I was like, oh, well, if I want another sim in here, maybe I should decorate the other room centered around, like, I don't know, in my head I'm still thinking about cupcakes, apparently, because I feel like it's very, I don't even know. If you looked at this room, you would not get cupcake, but I get cupcake. I have no idea why. It's kind of pastels and just fun and young. So then I'm like, I have the perfect idea. It's gonna be two sisters, and they're gonna, and honestly, it could just be the older sister that owns the building, and maybe she just rents the room out to her sister. I'm not sure, but the sister who runs the bakery, I think, is going to be a pretty young adult, and just because that's how I envision her with her room the way it is. And yeah, I think that I ended up, because of the whole cupcake thing, then I got this idea that it's gonna be a normal bakery, but I think that the baker is going to specialize in like cupcakes and cakes. So then I used a lot of decorations from, what did I use? I pulled out some debug stuff. I pulled out the piping bags. I ended up pulling out like flour and sugar. I pulled out some books, like baking books, and then cake toppers, and then the best idea came at me, and I don't even know how I got here. I have no idea. It was fantastic though. I still love this idea. I'm pretty sure it's seasons. I could be wrong. I should probably check on that, but I think it's seasons. There's like a decoration. It's like a top hat with some like horns or something, like some blows, like horns, I don't know. And I thought about how certain foods and stuff go bad in The Sims, and I figured, you know what? These are like pre-decorated. There is designs on them. I was like, I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna make it look like cakes. So that's what I did. And I can't wait to show that part of the video to you guys, but I made cakes from top hats. Season-themed top hats. And I even used the tool mod and like a sign, like a business sign, to make it look like there's writing on the top hat or on the cake. I am so in love with this idea, and I know I am not the first person to think about it, but I have to say I've not seen it done before, and I'm not taking credit for being the first person, like I said, because I'm pretty sure that other people have thought about this way before me. But I was just so proud of myself that like I thought about this idea, and I didn't get the idea from anyone else. And I love it. I cannot wait for you guys to see it. I left a cake in the baker's kitchen. Like they just got done with it, and that's the one that's like my favorite. It has like, it's like a rainbow cake, and it has the rainbow cake topper, and then that's the one I used the business sign on it to look like they had wrote like happy birthday or congratulations or something on there. I love it. It's so cute. Anyway, here, back to the build. I'm so sorry, guys. I had to restart. I had to give myself a break and restart the voiceover. think I was having some kind of allergic reaction to something because my nose started running like crazy and my eyes were itching, and it was really distracting while I was doing the voiceover. And I can't imagine how great the video would have sounded with me constantly sniffling. And I apologize if I do a random sniffle. I will try my hardest not to. However, I am having something has irritated my allergies, and it's not great, but it's better now than it was a few minutes ago. So, okay, again, back to the build. We are doing the bakery kitchen, like the kitchen specifically for the bakery. And right now I'm just figuring out what kind of clutter I wanted to put in. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for the mixer. I love it. I'm just so excited that we have it. Even if it didn't work, I think I'd still be excited to have it. Like if it just was clutter, I still would love it. Because something that I have always wanted to do is I love pantries. I have no idea why. Like I just think, how realistic would it be to have a pantry off of your kitchen with your small appliances and food and just a bunch of stuff? And I think that would just give so much realism if you're playing The Sims to tell a story and like actually play stuff out, right? And I think it would be so awesome. And I try to do that with like debug items and whatnot, and the small appliances that just have come out, like the mixer, the waffle maker, I mean, even that little scale that is non-functional, how amazing. I love it all. I want more stuff like that. I don't care if it works or not. I mean, I'm sure that's not a real popular opinion. And honestly, I would be really grateful if it did work, but I would accept it even if it didn't. Anyway, I think I really end up liking the way that the kitchen turned out downstairs. Even so, I wanted to have like some kind of center island piece, but I didn't want to have it to where it looked like one side was meant for sitting and like eating at, like a breakfast bar or anything like that. So what I did is I took two regular counter end pieces and placed one facing like the fridge, and then I think it's facing the fridge, and then one facing the opposite way. So it didn't necessarily look like one way was the correct way or like the right facing way. I hope that it doesn't look weird. I think it looks good like that, but I hope that you don't find it looking weird. And if you do, you can change it. It's totally, you don't need it there. I just thought it looked good, and it was missing something in the center, so that's what I did. And when you're baking, the more surface area you have, the better. So not that surface space is usable because there's stuff on it, but you can pretend. So up here, I am taking away the layout from the apartment because, again, I had originally intended it to be for 2 elderly Sims. I needed to get rid of the bed I had chosen to use because I wanted more youthful looking furniture. And I changed the stair placement than what I had it originally, so I figured I could rearrange the layout. I needed two bedrooms also, so we did have to play about a bit there to get that. Boy, do I love the vibrancy of this apartment. I don't think I have ever made such a vibrant, colorful house before. I used yellow a lot in the main living spaces, so like the dining room, the kitchen, the living room, and I even think like the foyer, so like where the landing of the stairs is. I used that real nice yellow, so it's almost like a pastel yellow, but it's also super bright, so It's really light and bright, and I just feel like it gives such a fresh feeling. And I don't know about you, but I love yellow and blue together. Not all yellow and blue, but when it's like that creamy, bright yellow that's going on here, I really like a deep blue with it. I didn't end up using like a real deep blue, but I still think it looks great. I don't know. I could be really weird and it might not look good, but I think it does. I also, because I put a fireplace on the outside, I wanted to make sure that there was a fireplace included somewhere in the build. And I would prefer the fireplace be connected to like the actual fireplace on the exterior. It doesn't need to be, but I really wanted it to be. And then trying to find a fireplace that fit in this really small area and that matched was not very fun. But the fireplace that I chose from the Horse Ranch EP ended up doing the job just fine. I really like the style of the fireplace, not so much the color. But I ended up going with the blue color because I found that it matched better than the other colors that fireplace had to offer in the swatch choices. But yeah, that's really all I have to say too much about the dining room. There's not too much going on in the dining room other than a table. Oh, except my favorite, I used my favorite table in the dining room. It is the table from the expansion pack that the town is in, that we're in. Cottage living, my goodness. I love it. I love all the tablecloth options. I wish that we had more tables with tablecloths because there are certain kinds of builds and you just need a tablecloth. I mean, you need them sometimes to fit the build, to fit the Sims, and an empty table does not fit every house. An empty table does not fit every Sim. Anyway, so I use this table a lot because of the tablecloth. The only problem is sometimes the options just don't go with what I'm looking for. But that's alright. It ended up working swell here. And yeah, so I'm just playing around with some plants in the kitchen. Oh, I kind of wanted to quick talk about the upstairs kitchen and the shelving. So I think I've already complained about the color swatches on the new shelves not matching. Can't have everything, right? But I also am kind of irritated that why do they have to have pre-set clutter on them? Because let's say I'm going to use 2 corner pieces in 2 corners of my room. I have 4 corners to a room, and I am choosing to take 2 of those corners and have 2 corner pieces. And the only corner pieces are these shelves, right? I'm not gonna have 4 of the same plates on the right corner and 4 of the same plates in the left corner. Why would I separate my plates? I just think it's so weird. So, and even let's say I wanted to have 2 shelves, one on top of each other. Like in this area I didn't want that 2 of the shelves there together. I wanted an option with nothing on the shelf so that I could clutter the shelf myself. So I pushed up the dual corner shelves so that one of the shelves was inside the actual cabinet piece to hide the first shelf, the higher shelf, and then I placed the regular shelving below that. I'm so sorry if that doesn't make sense, but I wanted to place my own clutter. But yeah, that I swear, I'm pretty sure that is all the complaining that I have to do because that is something that I really don't like. I can't stand when somebody willingly chooses to use something and then complain about it. So like if you're gonna complain about it, why are you using it, right? But hey, so I promise that's all the complaining I'm gonna do. It's my complaining. Oh look, here's me placing the table. Anyway, the only reason I needed to express my complaints is to make it, to have you understand like why I did what I did, where I pushed up that one cabinet or the one shelf into the cabinet. But yeah, here I'm decorating the rooms for the Sims that live here. This nature themed room is for the florist, the older Sim. Oh my gosh, the wallpaper that I ended up using in this room is my all-time favorite. Speaking of which, I'm gonna have to figure out where that's from because I love it so much. Okay guys, it is from Paranormal, and I think it was called something leaf, divinity leaf or divine, I don't remember. Even though I just looked it up, I'm sorry. It is amazing. I love it, and it's something so like dainty and like elegant about such a simple leaf paper, like wallpaper. I love it. It's just so fitting, and I think it actually works really well with the bedding. I used the bedding to pretty much come up with the whole design of the bedroom, and I chose the bedding based on, again, her love of nature, and that is how I got the whole theme for the room. And then I tried to bring in that green color from the bedding onto the two side walls. The only trouble I had with those side walls is the only swatch of wallpaper that I found that really matched the bedding was this particular green swatch, and it's fine. It's a fine wallpaper. It's fine. I just don't like the bottom, that it has the brick, because why is there random brick at the baseboards of two of the walls? But that's okay. It looks gorgeous. I love it, and we just won't look at the floor, right? So I ended up adding in an easel into the florist bedroom because I figured since she is going to be being all DIY and whatnot, I figured she could also paint her own pictures and sell those in the gift shop as well. And now it looks like I'm just going about here and there adding in bits and bobs throughout the rest of the build. I'm really sorry. Every time I get to the end of my build, I'm always remembering last minute things that I had intended to put in earlier and I either couldn't find them or I forgot. I hope that I can start getting a little bit more organized and finding a flow better when I'm doing my builds. I mean, I know I'm gonna get there. Work in progress, but that way it's easier to kind of follow through with, like, follow the video and see what I'm actually doing, and it's just a little bit easier to follow when you're watching. But here I decided that I was going to add in a closet for the Baker Sims bedroom because I didn't end up actually giving her a wardrobe or a dresser. I kind of wanted to keep the clutter to a minimum in her room. It just kind of seemed like she was kind of really neat and a little bit more modern. So I wanted to kind of present that with the limited amount of clutter that she had in her room. I was gonna give her a desk and a computer, but I just didn't think that it fit very well with the space that was available in her room. So I figured, you know what, if your Sims want computers, they can just have laptops in their inventory. And yeah, and then they can just pull it out and use it wherever. plenty of spaces for them to use it. Also, I really felt the need to use the Modern Lux TV in here. I don't remember exactly why, but now looking at it, I almost feel like it needs to be sized down because it doesn't fit too well with the allowed space in between the door frame of the door and the closet. So I might go and size that down now. And I think that about wraps it up. I'm going to end the voiceover now. I hope that you guys enjoy the screenshots. If you like this build, it's on the gallery. My gallery ID is Bubblini911. Again, I thank you guys so much for your support, and I hope you come back for another Sims 4 speed building video. Bye guys!